everyone, welcome to session number 5. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, that is digestive system and the connection that it has to the immune system. So basically how the digestive system supports and protects our immune system. So to understand better the connection that the immune system and the digestive system has, we should meet our microbiome and understand a little bit better what are the functions that are related with the microbiome. So these functions could be breaking down food, fight harmful bacteria or microbes, and also the communication between the different immune cells. There's something very important that is called the gut barrier, and we do have all along our gut, we do have a gut lining or gut barrier that is doing or performing a lot of different important functions for the immunity of a person, because basically all the things that come from outside, when we eat, when we drink things, when we touch our faces, we can get into our system different bacteria, different microbes. So when they get into the microbiome, this bacteria, all these things are operating as a team, very in synergy. They help us filtering all those things and protect us from those toxins or microbes to go into the blood through that gut lining that we have. That is a beautiful barrier that is protecting us from getting those things into our blood. Okay, now that we have talked about this barrier and this gut lining barrier that we have on the gut, we can also talk about leaky gut. Have you heard about the term leaky gut? This is really important right now. Nowadays, there's a lot of different patients that are suffering from leaky gut. What this is in particular, well, when we were discussing about what the barrier does for us, that is protecting and filtering, this all along the gut lining, we do have these filters, but they are supposed to be one stick to the other. When we are exposed to inflammation, to metal toxicity, to different type of to radiation, or when we don't eat properly and we do eat a lot of processed foods, alcohol, caffeine, this inflammation can occur in the gut, can separate those filters from each other. So there's a lot of different spaces in between those filters. And when we eat and we get all that food into our microbiome, instead of being filtered through those filters, those particles, food particles, toxins, bacteria, they're leaking in between those filters. So this inflammation basically disrupt what we call the immune system and gut connection. Because instead of filtering, they are allowing those things to go in between. That is what we call leaky gut. And nowadays is a very important diagnosis that we very often give to different patients that are suffering from different digestive conditions, or things like brain fog, headaches, bloating. So those would be symptoms that you could consider as gut imbalances, or that they do have a connection with any type of gut imbalance. So which signs can consider as reflecting an imbalanced gut? Those could be bloating, excess of gas or burping after eating. We can consider diarrhea or constipation, a brain fog, headaches, pains like aches in all the body. Also, that could be considered as something related with an imbalanced gut. So something that we will also discuss and we hear a lot is this thing called food sensitivities. Remember that I mentioned the leaky gut? Well, I do not really think as a nutritionist that there's things like food sensitivities. Probably there is something about that leaking in between those filters that is producing this immune reaction. So let's say that you eat maybe salmon every day, or maybe you eat oats every day. If you do perform a food sensitivity test, what is going to happen is that probably those foods are they're going to be listed as food sensitivities. But it's not like that really. The problem is that when you do have a leaky gut and you have that inflammation and those things that you eat very often are leaking in between, What eventually happens is that they go into the immune system, they go into the blood, and they create an immune reaction because they are not being properly filtered because of this inflammation situation. What eventually happens is that they go into the immune system, they go into the blood, and they create an immune reaction because they are not being properly filtered because of this inflammation situation. Well, to summarize, talking about these different symptoms that could be reflecting a gut imbalance, if you feel bloating, excess of gas, if you feel any type of indigestion, you're also altering between diarrhea, constipation, or other things that could be not that direct, interpreted like digestive system issues like brain fog or maybe fatigue, you could be considering that there's something on your digestion that is not quite good. And maybe you should be looking into what could be going on and maybe start doing things to improve your microbiome. And we can explore now different things that you can do from the nutrition perspective to help your gut immune connection to work better. So talking about foods that can support your gut health, we can talk about different ones. Starting with the famous probiotics. So there's different probiotics that you can have actually as foods. Talking about, for example, have you heard about sauerkraut? These fermented foods that are made out of cabbage. So that would be a great probiotic food. You have kefir, you can have yogurt. Yogurt is a great also probiotic food. What means probiotic food? That means that it has healthy bacteria that can help your body and your microbiome to increase the healthy bacteria and to balance also the microbiome to be always healthy, because we do have bad and good bacteria, and these probiotic foods, what they do is they increase the healthy bacteria on the gut to always have a good balance. We talk about probiotics, now we are going to talk about prebiotics. So what is prebiotics exactly? These are the foods that feeds the other bacteria that we call probiotics. So when we talk about prebiotics, we are talking about fiber mainly. Any fiber, the fiber that you have in vegetables, the fiber that you have in fruits, the fiber that you can find in different whole grains, all that fiber counts, and it's really important to feed those good bacteria in the gut. And do not forget about hydration. How important hydration is to maintain all the system working properly. And especially when we talk about hydration, and I said this before in another session, is that it's not just about drinking water. We also need to consider inside that water the minerals that we need to maintain a good cell communication. Okay, when we talk about minerals, we don't need to necessarily buy a supplement. We can just use Celtic salt or sea salt and add some of that into our water, and we will be adding into that water 45 different minerals to support our hydration. So we talked about the foods that will help your microbiome to work better and improve that connection between the gut and the immune system. Now we are going to talk about those foods that actually you need to limit, because they can exacerbate any gut issue, or they can create inflammation, and that will disrupt your microbiome, and that is going to affect your immune system. So starting with the artificial sugars. Anything that is packed and you read in the labels, actually, if you avoid having packed food, so then you're not going to really need to read labels. So if you're eating any packed food, try to at least read the labels. And if you do have on that label more than 10 ingredients that you don't really understand and you don't know how to read, probably there's something there that is not really healthy. So talking about artificial sugars, but then we add immediately anything that is packaged or processed foods. This is what we are talking about. Okay, other foods that can create a lot of inflammation in the gut and maybe disrupt that gut immunity imbalance, because it can create inflammation and it can end up in this situation that we talked about that is called the leaky gut, is dairy, are all dairy products in general and gluten as well. So if we talk about dairy in specific, there's different type of dairy, and probably most of you do not know the difference between this thing called A2, A1, but we're talking about the casein, that is the protein on the dairy products. So casein, this protein, when it comes to the regular dairy, is A1, and it comes from a very big cow, a different type of cow breed that produce this type of protein. It's very large. It's actually created for the baby cow to be fed. And cows do have up to 2 stomachs. So this is a very large protein that is not really compatible with the human gut. So when we drink milk, when we do have any type of dairy product that is coming with that type of protein, the type A1, that protein can be partially digested and can also be stuck on the gut lining and create a lot of inflammation. So if you're going to have any type of dairy products, you should do instead A2 products, that if you go to any health food store now, you will start seeing A2 milk, A2 yogurt. So that is an ideal type of protein because it's smaller. It comes from another cow breed. It's smaller and it's actually equally to the protein that you can find in products like goats and sheep. That those are the type of dairy products that we suggest because of the content of A2. That is a protein that, on a difference to A2, is on a difference to A1, is considered hypoallergenic. One of the things that I also mentioned is gluten. Gluten is a protein that is very sticky. It comes into wheat, oats that are not gluten-free, and other type of grains that do contain this protein that is really sticky. So when it comes to this stickiness, how it can affect us is that it goes into the gut, also it gets there, it's sticky, and can create the same thing as dairy from A1 dairy, this inflammation, and then end up in this situation of a leaky gut. So gluten is something that you want to avoid. You want to keep a healthy gut. So besides foods that you want to limit because you want to keep a healthy gut, there's another thing that you should consider, that is the overuse of antibiotics. We already know that these antibiotics can reduce the amount of healthy bacteria on the gut. So if it's not strictly necessary, you should try to do natural antibiotics like olive leaf extract, like oregano oil, and try to avoid synthetic antibiotics because they do reduce the healthy bacteria on the gut and can affect the gut lining and the immune system connection. So now we are going to start with an immune support checklist, just to summarize all the things that we've been talking about. So, eat probiotics and prebiotic foods. Sleep properly. Sleep also. We haven't talked about sleep in this session, but it's very important because we talked about in the circadian rhythm session. That was session number 4. So sleep also can affect our immune system, and it's very important to keep good sleep patterns to support the gut immune connection. Prioritize also activities, hydration, and emotional health, because also the stress can affect the gut immune connection. If we are all the time secreting cortisol, there is this adrenal hormone that we talked about in our session number 4, that can also trigger inflammation and can also end up in this situation that we talk about that is called leaky gut. And finally, also consider the foods that we discussed, having more good foods and limiting the foods that could be pro-inflammatory and end up affecting our gut health. So a gentle reminder, your gut is your partner. If you take care of your gut is going to take care of you. It's going to support your health. So, as we say in every session, small changes for a big impact over time. So keep going, you're doing great, and see you on next session.